Hi, you guys. I'm Matt Max6. We're back at the Mecca, and this is a new episode of Gold's Gym's Venice Trainer's Corner. We have a little bit of a special episode today. I've been talking to Brad for a few weeks now, even months, about this, and this is actually going to be something we're going to call it sort of like a Trainer's Corner, but also muscle rehab, which is very, very interesting because so many of us, as we're getting older, have issues with, with pains and all kinds of things like that. And Brad, which of course I've been a trainer here for years, many years, had tons of clients, just got into something a little different. We see him working on tons of people at Gold's, at Columbus. He was working on tons of people for 12 hours a day. Brad, tell me a little bit about this new wave technology you found that you seem to really believe in.
Dave, first of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity to come on here and talk about this. So the machine is called Newbie by NewFits, and it's like a stim machine, but very much unlike a stim machine. So it's actually a neuromuscular re-education system. And what it is, it's a DC current as opposed to every other of the stim machines, which are an AC current. Those AC current machines actually forcibly cause muscle contraction. And it does nothing with recreating the neuromuscular connection with your brain. It actually can be a damaging effect. So if you have injury and soft tissue injury, the last thing you want to do is shorten and contract that tissue. So when you go to your physical therapist's office and they throw you on that stim machine, that's actually a negative effect. This is actually a lengthening signal we're sending. So it's allowing tissue to relax and release, which is going to open up, blood flow, nutrient flow, things like this. But we actually attack the nervous system as opposed to the motor neurons causing contraction. So we send a DC current that mimics our brain signal through the nervous system. So when we go to contract, we're eliciting more muscle fiber recruitment. But what's even better is through a search feature, I can find the neurological impedances through your body. So what causes injury is because of imbalance. We have muscular imbalance, but what causes that muscular imbalance? It's neurological imbalance. So when neurons and receptors aren't firing properly, that means the muscles aren't firing properly. That causes the imbalance, which is what causes the injury. So we can actually physically search with this machine, and when we go over what we call hotspots, neurological imbalances, you hurt. The body goes into a protective state. So when we go over one of those areas and send that signal through there, it wants to clench up real quick. So when I'm going to search Dave through his shoulder, we're going to go over areas and it's going to hurt, and we're going to put pads on those, and then we run signal through those hot spots and work them through ranges of motion. And typically 3 to 5 sessions, about every 3 to 4 days, we do away with those neurological impedances, which thus does away with the muscular imbalances, which cause the injury. So we're doing away with the root cause of the injury, and we're increasing blood flow and nutrient flow to that area, loosening up the tissue. So you're earning cover about 50% faster than traditional modalities.
Wow. I'm glad you said something about this, because I don't know, some of you know, for the past few years I've been having issues with my left shoulders. It got so bad at one point I went to go do therapy with Steve Murphy in Newport Beach, Derek Farnsworth in San Diego, which are some of the best. Nothing helped. Derek even told me if I let it by itself, just not do anything about it, it would become frozen shoulder. I wouldn't be able to move. I couldn't sleep anymore. So finally, I couldn't take it anymore. Dr. Rand actually just before Christmas did some stem cells and PRP on the shoulder. Pain finally started to go away. It's getting better. It's been 3 months already, so I'm getting some of my range of movement, but it's still not 100%. So slowly I'm feeling it better, but if this can help me actually recover faster and get my motility faster, my mobility, that would be awesome.
Right, so those PRP and stem cells are great because that's going to increase soft tissue healing itself.
Regeneration.
Regeneration. And then we're going to attack it and do away with the neurological imbalances. So the combination of those two are absolutely phenomenal.
Wow.
I mean, this machine is helping people with so many different issues. The clinical studies are published next month, and they're showing a 50% increase in recovery rate from hip replacements and knee replacements. They're helping people with neurological issues like stroke, Parkinson's, MS. They have a woman who was paralyzed for 25 years who, with a combination of stem cell therapy and using this 3 times a week, she is now taking steps on her own because they have regrown those new neural pathways. So no matter what your nervous system issue is, this can really help you. So, and on top of that, there's this whole hypertrophy training aspect of it, which data shows that it grows tissue about 40% faster than traditional training. They're about 2/3 away with their clinical trials. This company is dumping money into clinical studies, into everything, so it's going to be legitimate hard data. You have teams like the Cubs, the Nationals, the Lakers, universities like Cincinnati, Louisville are picking up on it. You have professional athletes that are flying down to Austin, Texas to the headquarters, getting worked on left and right. You check out their website, NewFit, you'll see pictures like Jake Arrieta, guys like Trent Dilfer, ex-NFL players, going down there for rehab. The list goes on and on and on. So this is absolutely blowing up, and I'm so excited to be on the forefront of things. I have a clientele base right now of one of the top track coaches in U.S. track and field history, helping him get around. He's 68 years old. His knees are kind of messed up. You know, we're improving his daily life and getting his strength back and allowing him to train again. And then I got guys that had torn hamstrings and shoulder issues, getting ready for the NFL Combine that I've helped out. So the proof is in the pudding. Everybody that gets on this thing they want to get back on it. You know, even if we fix your issue, we find another issue to work on. So I'm excited to show you guys what this is all about.
I've seen you work on Callum, actually. Callum, which had, issue with his quad. You worked on him. You work on Dylan Bailey at the Arnold. Name some of the people that actually you worked with. Everybody.
You know, pretty much everybody that I've gotten my hands on it. Like Breon got on it. He did a little calf workout. Texted me 3 days later. Holy shit, bro! My calf's never been so sore. Let's get a leg day in next week. Callum, actually, NewFit reached out to Callum to get him a machine, and he was in such a dark headspace after that second bicep tear and the quad tear. But I finally, when I saw him at the airport in Columbus, I told him, I'm like, get your ass in, get a session in. And he texted me later, and like, for 2 days straight, he's like, I have not felt that good. Like, I haven't felt a pump in my quad. I feel more stable. I feel less pain. So he's going to get more sessions in, and we're going to talk to his physical therapist to see if she wants to buy a machine. So Dana Lynn Bailey, I get on to her, and she was bragging to Joey Firestone about the shoulder pump that she got. So there's not one person that's ever walked away from this and had something negative to say. They are absolutely blown away between the looseness and the reduction in pain that you get from injury, or just the ridiculous deep to the bone pain, soreness, and pump that you get from the training.
Because I'm glad you say that, because a lot of people, when they see the machine, it looks kind of, it looks like a hospital car. It looks kind of goofy a little bit.
I look really weird walking around with this thing. I get plenty of questions, but I'm telling you guys, I've been training on this since the beginning of December, since I got certified. Every single day, every single workout, and I've been cruising, been detoxing my body, and I'm maintaining about 240 lean. I'm staying round. My workouts are 30 to 40 minutes max, and I'm absolutely smoked. So
you used it for your bicep, because you hurt your bicep. Yeah. Is that how you found them? Or?
So actually, originally when my wife got hurt last year around this time, she tore both of her quad rec femoris insertions in her hip, and they sent us a machine because she was in a walker. She was supposed to be in a walker for 12 weeks, and she was actually back to doing full strength leg workouts within 12 weeks, rehabbing with us. Wow. I didn't really understand the machine that well. It sat in her house, so we sent it back to them. And then when I ruptured my bicep in August, they were actually there. They're like, we're going to get you another machine. So like 4 weeks post-op, I got a machine because they had a shortage of them, unfortunately. But from 4 weeks on, I started training. I was doing banded bicep curls at 4 weeks post-op with this thing on. And I stepped on stage 14 weeks later after having distal bicep recovery, when I was told I wasn't going to be able to train until 16 weeks post-op. So
that's why you believe in it so much.
This recovered me so fast. I have an extremely torn labrum. Just went in yesterday. My surgeon said essentially you can't do anything. I'm just going to need a shoulder replacement in about 5 or 6 years. But I'm able to train without pain with this and get the best chest and shoulder pump ever without adding more strain to the shoulder. So It's been a lifesaver for anybody who has nagging injuries, or you just want to have the greatest pump workout you've ever had in your life.
What would you say to someone who's watching this and is like on the fence, like, I don't know if this is hokey? What would you say to them?
You just got to try it, honestly. That's the biggest thing. If you can find someone, I get people coming, whatever, you never saw Dorian or Jay hooked up to those stupid things, just move heavy weight.
Yeah, we didn't have the technology back then.
That technology wasn't there. And these guys, hindsight, they look back at how they beat the shit out of their bodies. And if I could tell you that you use a third less weight than you normally have to, you train in half the amount of time you normally need to, and it's the equivalent of training twice as long as you normally do, with your joints going to be intact and feeling better, you'd be a fool not to want to try this out.
Yeah.
It's only beneficial. You can't get hurt by it. Yeah, it's gaudy and it looks different, but guess what? Things are different. Life changes. Technology helps us out.
That's right. Where can they reach you, Brad, for more information or to try a session with you?
So shoot me an email at bradrowefit, FIT, @gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram, bradrowefit, and shoot me a DM there, and get you in a session in Gold's Venice.
All right. Thanks so much, Brad. We're going to show some footage, of course, of this thing, and then
yes.
I can't wait to tell you personally after I've tried it for the first time today.
I'm gonna have them wait a couple days.
Yes,
it's like a 2 to 3 day laps in the pump that you get. So like
Yeah.
people like the next day after they train, like I'm not that sore, and all of a sudden 2 to 3 days later, like holy shit, that just kicked in.
Yeah.
So in like 2 to 3 days, we'll get a little, you know, Dave can talk about it on his own
Yeah.
without my influence.
Yeah, awesome. All right, thanks, Brad.
Found those spots and we hooked up the electrodes to where those hot spots are. I turned him up till he's about a level 5 pain tolerance, so it's going to feel a little uncomfortable, but nothing that's going to take his breath away or be completely unbearable. Now we're going to work some ranges of motion. So one of the first things we'll do is like a sword pull. So like Excalibur, you're going to come up here, rotate that wrist up like this. We're going to do 10 of those. I don't know if I can put that far. You'll be surprised. You'll get there. Good.
That's better than I thought.
Yeah. I guarantee you'll be doing full out extensions by the end of this. So we do 3 rounds this way, then each time we increase the intensity because things become to dissipate, our body gets used to it, and then we change the polarity. So right now current runs from black to red, and then we change it to run red to black. We'll do a couple more rounds. Okay. And now you're going to do a lateral shoulder raise. Okay. Sure, it feels like. Sword pulls again? Yep. Okay.
I get that just every day.
Well, I haven't done that forever. I mean, to raise my arm that high.
I put my life on it. Your arm will get over your head by the end of this. I put my life on it.
I don't want you to die.
I tell people, so clients that are like, oh, they're unsure about it. I tell them if at like 3 days after the workout they're not sore in a good way, I'll give them their money back. And I haven't refunded anybody yet. Okay. All right. I don't know. Stretch that scapula. Yep. Drive back. Scapula up. Oh, it's a blessing. Turn you up one more time. You're back to that baseline. All right, so you've jumped up. You started at 24, so you're up 10 points, which is pretty sufficient. That's where you're like, when you touch them, yeah. All right, same thing, sword pulls.
Okay.
Look at that, increasing range of motion.
Am I ready? I can't really tell.
Yeah.
You can tell?
But once we take these off, it's going to be better. Because these kind of restrict range of motion.
Yeah.
Because everything's tensing up all those little muscles. Two more. All right, good. Lateral. Rows.
No.
There you go. Nice shock when it goes back on. So as you guys will see, he's got range of motion. So with those AC current stim machines that you see out there, all those E-stim suits, all that bullshit, you cannot move through the contracted range of motion. Those things cause a contraction. You cannot move your muscles. You will actually cause damage. You can tear muscle off tissue, off tendon, tendon off bone if you crank those high enough. This you cannot get hurt. It's a lengthening signal we're sending. So we're not going to cause any tissue damage whatsoever, no tendon damage at all. And you're able to move through ranges of motion with this running. You can't do that with other stim machines. All right, let's try a front raise.
That's another one that.
Good. All right, so I'm gonna turn you down a little bit. Then we're gonna change the polarity. Now it's gonna shut off and turn back on, and it's gonna fucking bite. So that's why I turned you down a little bit. It didn't bite bad. Good. I turned you down enough.
I feel it.
Yeah, most people when it turns back on, it's like a holy shit. All right, tell me when you're about that level 5. Right there. Yeah. All right. Sword pulls. Oh shit! Some motions will be easier, some motions will be harder when we change the polarity.
Am I twitching? I'm feeling myself twitching. I hope we see that on camera.
Especially a lat back here kind of goes a little crazy. Okay. Lateral matrix. Yeah.
That's what you look like when you train with that. And then Black Friday is plug into the matrix.
Now do like a overhead.
Wow. It seems so easy now that you're not connected to that thing. This thing makes it so hard. It's like now it's big difference.
A lot more looseness and fluidity from.
Yeah, it's funny. It's not. Yeah, you're right. I just feel the muscles kind of like relaxed instead of being contracted all the time. Because that was the problem. I would never get a rest.
Yeah.
The muscle was so bound up and tight all the time.
Yeah.
It just never gets a break. So your body starts to find ways to move around and lift the weights some other way. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
So we're back at Gold's Gym, and I just finished my 4th session with Brad right now with the new fit machine, new fit machine. And I just want to give a little update. I didn't want to do it too early because I was kind of skeptical the first time we did it. I just did it because he offered, and I just wanted to really give it a shot. So, but I really feel like after 4 sessions, my shoulder's a lot looser, my range of motion is a lot better, and I feel like workout to workout, my range of motion is actually better. And it's not as tight normally when I'm not actually training. I feel a little looser in the muscle, which is usually used to be always contracted, like in a bad way. So I feel I'm actually looser now all the time. I sleep much better, obviously, and of course the workouts are much more intense, much more better. I feel like I get a much better contraction, and I finally feel like my shoulders get some fullness that I lost a lot over the past few months because I couldn't train it right. I was trying to work around it. So, like I said, I haven't worked with Brad as far as training per se with the machine, but I really wanted to do it as far as to give you an idea on therapy and therapeutic healing. If you do have any injury, and of course for me, it really works well. So if you're around Gold's Venice, or if you want to try this machine, make sure to get a hold of Brad. It really helped me out. I hope I can get a few more sessions out of him, even though the video is going to be out. But we'll give, of course, those information. And Brad, thank you so much for doing this, man. I really appreciate it.